Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all things above and in between. This is just a quick PSA to let you know that this was recorded on the 14th of January before certain news came out about one of the people we mentioned in this episode. We don't know about that stuff happening in this episode, so you'll just have to ignore that if you can. And if you can't, then sorry. See you next time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all things above and in between. I am one of your hosts, Nightflower, Obsessive Reader Love, excuse me, and I am joined by...
Lore Weaver.
And...
Teddy!
And this is the 4th episode of the Own Tempo Pokemon Podcast.
Hooray!
Today, we will be discussing the Sinnoh starters, and apparently I am the only one with correct opinions today. Because Lore, I know, has a very incorrect opinion. I know Teddy said that he had an incorrect opinion, so I'm interested in seeing what all's going on. So to give you guys some background context, Lore has not played Pokemon Platinum. He's a very busy boy. He has lots of video games to play. So he's played... Was it Diamond or Pearl that you originally played?
I think it was Diamond.
And then you played the remake when it came out, and everybody knows the remakes aren't the best. I like them because I'm physically incapable of not liking a Pokemon property. Like, it's literally impossible for me. I'm like, I am physically bound.
It's fine, love. I'm weirdly defensive, not of Pokemon games, but of the actual programmers and developers.
I mean, yeah, me too. Like,
I'm the flavor of freak where when someone's like, Nintendo just doesn't care about making good games because they made Breath of the Wild and they made Pokemon, and I have to be like, first of all, Nintendo doesn't make Pokemon. Second of all, the people that make the decision on release dates and the developers are different people, and I can feel and see the passion of the developers being stuck under a short time schedule in these games.
The time crunch on Scarlet and Violet was atrocious.
And even with BDSP, I'm assuming that even though it wasn't Game Freak that developed it, I'm assuming it was given to a studio that wasn't ready for something of the scale it was given, and they were probably given weird, arbitrary limitations on what they could and couldn't do.
Like, I'm just gonna point out, I don't know if any of y'all playing these video games register how fucking enormous Pokemon games are on average. Like, think about this. Even the first one, you've got 150 Pokemon that you can have in your party. They gotta have moves. They gotta have stats. They gotta have interactions with other Pokemon. They gotta have all the moves. There's like 400 of those. They gotta have animations. It is one of the biggest scale issue RPGs in the entirety of anything. Like, holy
the red,
shit.
blue, and yellow cartridges were packed to the brim with code. They were finding all sorts of weird shortcuts to get that shit to work. And they still filled it up.
It's so fun. And I love that they had more than just the 150 ideas, and some of those ideas just fell through the cracks. Pour one out for the lightning tigers that didn't get put in the game not once, but twice.
Yeah, they kind of got turned into Zero Aura, but that kind of depends on how you look at Zero Aura.
They look nothing like Zero Aura. If someone tried to point at Zero Aura and tell me this was the funny, like, Thunder Tiger that was in Gen 1 and 2's betas, I would say, you are trying to sell me a star. This is not true. I would not own that star.
20 coins, it's a deal.
Yeah. So, I played Diamond when I was a child. I was a 10-year-old child on my 10th Christmas, the week after my birthday. I got a pink Nintendo DS Lite, and I got Pokemon Diamond. And I played the crap out of Pokemon Diamond. I don't remember when I got Platinum. We got Platinum at some point. I like Platinum. Platinum's good, but I fell in love with Diamond before I played Platinum. I did not care about the slowness. I never realized that the games were slow until I started watching people let's play the video game and say, oh my god, this game's so slow. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice, because I was 11 to 12, right?
Also because Pokemon is fun. Pokemon fights are fun. Having to do a bunch of Pokemon fights when you're 10 is fun. You don't care that it's sometimes busy work. It's a good time.
It's less a
Well,
matter
no,
of busy
see, I
work and more a
actually did
matter
not
of the
agree
speed
with-
at which the health bars moved.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that. I thought we were
Very-
talking about grinding. No.
And honestly,
No.
in
We're
the
talking
modern
about like the speed of the game, like the actual speed of the walking and stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, in the modern age, you're most likely not playing these games on actual hardware. You are most likely emulating them, and there are patches that just fix the speed of the...
It's true, but like,
HP bars.
BDSP fixes a significant portion of those issues as well. I like
and introduces
BDSP.
a bunch of its own.
You know, if
I
you
think
if you think that I'll change my mind on Gen 4 by playing Platinum, we should put that on the list of things to do together.
we should. I think that it I don't really. So it kind of depends, right? I really like Platinum. It's a very good game. I don't think that it is that much better than Diamond and Pearl, but it has a lot more in it. So like for people who care more about that, and like it does demonstrably fix the issues that a lot of the issues that Gen 4 has. Now, to be fair, it gets up to a total of 5 fire types, and I know that's an issue for you. I know that that's one of the things that. So for those that do not know,
We'll talk about Flint in a minute.
For those that do not know, Lore's a fire type enthusiast. His favorite Pokemon is Typhlosion, although apparently Tinkaton's edging it out.
It's getting close.
But he likes fire types except for a certain one that he is wrong about in every single way. I do not understand. Anyway, we'll get to that in just a minute.
You know, I think Tinkaton and Typhlosion can be friends. Typhlosion can like heat the forge that Tinkaton uses to make her hammer.
They
and
would be
evolve.
friends. They would be friends. God, they would be friends.
So here's the thing about Gen 4. And I don't think Love knows even the extent to which she thinks that I'm wrong about Gen 4. Because I hate Gen 4. I didn't have fun the first time round, and I definitely didn't have fun the second time round. And I think it has the weakest starter designs in the series. My
Okay.
two
Okay,
least
we're gonna get into a
favorite
fight.
starters in Pokemon are Chimchar and Turtwig, and Piplup's
Okay.
nothing to write home
Let's
about
start
either.
talking about this because you are factually incorrect.
like
Oh my
you-
god.
I
Like
like you,
Chimchar, if you
Turtwig.
just don't like monkeys, some people don't like monkeys, they
I
find
like
them to be
monkeys.
uncanny valley, that's fine. Turtwig is friend shaped. Look at that big old noggin. Look at that big old chomping boy. He's
Turtwig
so
is my
cute.
favorite of the three, and I will say it's mostly because of the little guy factor.
He's
He's
such
a
a
fully
little
evolved-
guy.
I don't
When it fully
hate
evolves, I
Turtwig.
don't really feel strongly about it. I'm just like, oh. okay.
Grottle, I think, is very cool looking. I like Grottle. I think he's one of the more solid middle Evos. He's very chonky in a very fun way, and I like the bushes on his back. I think it adds to his silhouette in a nice way. I think he's very cool. And then Torterra is so cool!
Torterra's
He's so
pretty cool. It's
He's
not my
literally like
favorite, but
he's a bonsai tree. He's a Japanese garden. He's the world tortoise, all at the same time. In the form of like a guy who is your friend who has grown alongside you. Torterra is awesome.
Torterra's
And he
pretty
gets-
cool.
And he gets Earthquake as soon as he evolves, so he's like one of the most useful starters too.
The thing about Turtwig is that there are two kinds of Doofy. And some of them I like, and some of them I don't. And Turtwig is charmingly doofy, but in a way that I don't find appealing.
How? Explain.
I'm struggling to put it into words. Just the shape of the face, the shape of the structure of the Pokemon's head, I just find very unappealing.
I just do not understand. I just don't understand. Like, I've shown both of you the Sinnoh anime, but I don't think we got up to the point where Ash catches his Turtwig.
No, you showed us like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
We gotta
Love,
watch.
You've got to
We
keep
gotta-
in mind, Love, that you have these little guys in full 24 frames per second animation in your brain.
I
with
do.
like
Okay,
with voices and
Tur-
personalities, and we have a sprite at the front and a sprite at the back, and a noise and a move set.
His cry, Turtwig's cry is great in the video games. By the way, like I love it. It's like the. It's like a very it's like a very little, sort of like a, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I love his little noise.
It's so
They
funny
really
when
went ham.
Pokemon has to like figure out a noise for animals that aren't noisy. Like
I
video
learned
games have
today
to
that
do this in
sharks don't make
general.
any noise.
Yeah.
Out of the 500 or so discovered species of sharks, not one of them has a noise-making organ.
Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, like, noise does travel in water, but, like, it travels differently, and they don't. A lot of sharks are actually, like, stealthy, so it would make sense. But also, noise making is a communication situation. Like, you want to broadcast something, and most sharks do not need extra broadcasting. And sharks are also old as fuck, so, like. Like they existed before like noisemakers would be necessary, and they've just kept going.
But yeah, it's always fun when Pokemon has to like make a noise for an animal that only makes noise under duress, like a turtle. I've only heard one
Turtwig's
kind of
voice in
noise
the
from a
anime
turtle,
is
and it is
also
not a casual noise.
Well, they have horny noises too.
Yeah, that's the category of noise that is the only turtle noise I know about. We've all seen the funny video of Turtle.
so. Speaking of noises, Turtwig's voice in the anime is great. Turtwig, Turtwig. He's very cute and funny, and I like him.
Shout out to the 4Kids and ongoing dub that just picked up 4Kids' tone. Y'all did it good. Like,
it's true. It's like Cartoon Network or some shit. Like,
yeah.
It was associated with Cartoon Network, and then like they got bought by Disney. I don't remember exactly what the company is though.
But either way, they tended to just actually pick up and do the tone and dubbing Pokemon fairly well generally.
Was it 4Kids or Game Freak that made the say their own name decision?
I have no idea. I have not looked into that.
Even the Japanese like original anime just goes back and forth on whether it wants a Pokemon to kind of make its noise or kind of make its own distinct sound. Like it goes from Clefairy going beep beep and Pikachu of course saying Pikachu, to just like I don't know other Pokemon, but like Gyarados just going bleh! Like,
really, can that mouth make any noise other than bleh?
I mean, there's a noise in the later parts of the anime that just yells. It's just a man yelling. We all know that one.
Yeah. Oh, God, I just had a thought go through my brain, but it left.
Oh, mood.
Well, notably, if you listen to Clefairy's cry in the game, it does sound like it's saying beep beep.
Wow.
So, like...
I just noticed... sorry, we'll get to what I just noticed after we finish talking about Pokemon cries. Never mind.
It's all good.
No, I was basically done. Go ahead.
So, Torterra's a physical attacker, right?
Correct.
It gets Earthquake. And it gets Headlong Rush. Those are its ground-type physical moves. However, all of its grass-type moves are special.
Where's Woodhammer?
Woodhammer is... Let me see. It's in the TM list if it gets it at all.
Did they, like, get rid of Woodhammer? Does Woodhammer not exist anymore?
Are you looking at Gen 4's learn set or the current generation learn set?
Gen 9.
Oh, okay.
Seed Bomb. It gets Seed Bomb via TM... Oh my god, I think, Grassy Glade. Yeah, I think Woodhammer just doesn't exist anymore.
Really? That's strange.
Well, that's a nerf.
Yeah,
That means
I don't see
Mimikyu
it,
doesn't
and
get
it would be here.
Woodhammer.
It had it. It absolutely had it.
Also, it has exactly 109 BST for attack, which is so weird.
Yeah,
it's 109 attack and
just
56 speed. Add one to attack and remove one from speed. Come on, it's...
But no, it's got to outspeed something that's at 55 speed.
Okay, no, Woodhammer does exist. That's so weird. I swear to God, no, Torterra does get it. It's a level 1 move.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. Huh. My bad.
It also gets Razor Leaf. That's like a lower level move that it has. You stick with Razor Leaf for most of the game until you get that.
That's a big jump in power.
It's true. But Razor Leaf isn't bad, and it hits both opponents in a double battle, so, it's pretty solid for most of the game.
That's what Torterra does when she has an answer to something in class. She Razor Leaf.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh man. Well, Torterra's cool. Turtwig, I'm not on board with.
I do not understand you.
It's my
Speaking
favorite
of me not understanding you.
It's my favorite of the three because it's just a little guy.
Yeah, I figured
but I
that
also
this one
don't
would be your
feel very
favorite.
strongly about it.
I love all three of the Sinnoh starters because I'm very attached to Sinnoh, and I'm aware that I'm extremely attached to Sinnoh. But like, all right, let's get this over with.
Okay,
why do you dislike Chimchar?
So
tell me why.
I don't. I don't like monkeys to begin with, but let's talk about my favorite type and how fire types are always early game gym leaders, with very few exceptions. There have been 2 fire type Elite Four members. There's been Flint and Malva, which means that
early game gym leaders.
Yeah, Flannery's like the latest one, and she's Gym 4.
No, honey, Blaine is the 7th gym leader.
Oh, right, I forgot about Blaine. Blaine's such a non-entity.
Like, most fire-type gym leaders are late-game gym leaders. Flannery's, like, the earliest one.
Most of the ones I remember are, like, gyms 1 through 4. Who's late?
Honey, hold on. Let me pull up the fucking list.
Okay. Well, so maybe I'm wrong about that point, but still.
So, Blaine, 7th gym leader. Flannery, 4th gym leader. Flint, Elite 4 member. Chili, barely counts. Malva, Elite 4 member. Kiawe, trial captain, also kind of vaguely doesn't count. Kabu, okay, he's the 3rd gym leader, so that's fair. And then Mela and Crispin are, like, kind of early on, but I think Mela's, like...
Crispin's called out repeatedly as the weakest of the Blueberry Elite Four. And Mela is the second team star member you fight.
Yeah, so, like, it's kind of early, but, like, I just associate it with Blaine so much because he's got iconic episodes of the anime, I guess, because he's, like...
Oh, he's named Crispin because you burn things to a crisp.
Yep.
Yes, honey.
So let's talk about Flint and Malva, the only fire-type E4 rep, one of whom is a goddamn terrorist. Fucking Malva.
And a reporter.
Well, yeah, the reporter's fine, but she's a Team Flare member, and she gets no consequences for being a goddamn terrorist. So, and yet she's still fire up than fucking Flint, who...
I really do not understand why you dislike him.
Well,
like, he's funny.
Mechanically, he is not a fire trader, and character-wise, he is all over the place. He's supposed to be comical. He's supposed to be serious. He's supposed to be... he looks like a clown. He's just... Oh, I hate him. He's no fun, and he's
I find
the
him
rep
extremely
in
fun.
the Elite Four for my type. And he's only got... In Diamond and Pearl, Platinum fixes this because it fixes somewhat the Pokedex for Sinnoh with more fire types, but in base Gen 4 there are only 2 fire types.
I actually find his Diamond and Pearl team to be very funny because
they were trying to go for a fire theme without any fire Pokemon.
And they put Lopunny on there because you know.
Because rabbits love to start forest fires.
I don't actually know, love.
Because
love.
she's
I don't
hot.
know. Oh, I guess.
But
that's a bit of a stretch, but
no, I don't see any other reason. She's like arguably based on Playboy bunnies. Like I'm not like that's.
I think it's a little bit more than arguably.
So like I feel like
Markiplier saying, "Does this make me a furry if I say smash? Smash."
Says the man who said smash on Ninetales. Like, honey, that ship has sailed. Not that I blame you.
There's a
but
difference
that ship
between
has
being
sailed.
a furry and just being wanting to find sorry. That sentence is really
God,
funny.
as an aside, what a fucking power move to drop that video and refuse to explain anything about it. No preamble, no preparation. He just posts the video, says at the end, I'm not taking questions, and I will be explaining nothing. Goodbye. End video.
You want to know what would be funny? If we put a bonus episode up that was us doing that.
Us doing Pokemon Smash and Pass. That would be very funny.
I feel like we should. I feel like we totally could.
That'll take us like 4 hours, but
yeah, and that would be fun. I think it would be fun. Okay, so
Chimchar and Infernape get a little bit of a backblast from how much I fucking hate Flint. But I guess I don't like monkeys.
Which is fine. Some people don't like monkeys. Luca Jin doesn't like monkeys. What?
I'm crushed, lore. My persona that isn't a Snorlax is a monkey.
I love
sorry.
Chimchar. Like
it's whatever.
There is a very important aspect that is Chimchar in the anime has one of the best arcs in all of anything, and I adore it, and I am entirely biased, and I understand that. Infernape is my favorite starter. Like, it's up there because of the anime. But even without that, I think that Infernape looks really cool because he's based off of Sun Wukong. He's got the headband. He's got like the cool gold accoutrements. He's badass, and he's got like he does like close combat. It's very cool. I think that he looks very cool. He's not overcomplicated. He's sleek. He's very cool. I think Monferno is maybe a little goofy, but like that's kind of part of the appeal.
I like Monferno better than Infernape. I think he's kind of cute.
He's like a dumb, goofy little prankster man, like how Sun Wukong was, you know. So it works in that way. And I think that Chimchar is a very solid little dude. I think that you know, some people just aren't into monkeys because of the uncanny valley. It's like, why do they have human hands? And I get that, but like I think that the patterning works well. The little tuft of hair that looks kind of like a flame is very funny. The fire coming out of his booty is kind of funny.
I hate him so much that I don't think I can go objective. Look at him objectively, but I think I would grant you that I didn't say he was bad. I said I hated him. Is how I feel about Infernape.
I just don't. I just feel like
Metal
maybe
Gear
you should,
Solid
like,
of
stop.
Pokemon starters.
I just feel like maybe you should stop. Maybe you should stop caring that much, which I know is something very wrong for me
that is very
say.
rich coming from you.
But like I have actually been thinking about this for a while because like I've been doing my RPG combat like video essay idea. I've been turning that over. I've actually started like writing a little bit, and I realized that if I wanted to like make it based on like the base of the Mario RPGs, I was going to have to at least try to watch Chugga Conroy ramble for an hour and a half about how much he hates everything about Sticker Star, and I'm like, all right. And so I started, and I realized, I just don't agree with most of this. Like this, like everything that he's saying just does not bother me. Like 80%. Like, yeah, I recognize that might be a problem for some people, but I don't care.
May I share my hot take about Sticker Star? I'll be very brief. I think it's a okay to good little handheld RPG. I do not think it follows up well on the legacy of Paper Mario games that predate it.
That's very true. World 2...
Here's the real test for it. If it weren't named Paper Mario, how would you feel about it?
I think it was a funny little RPG with somewhat disappointing combat, but like fun humor.
Yeah.
Like I don't particularly like at around the second world I was like, this isn't really an RPG. This is kind of like a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are games that if they stood on their own without association, or either being part of an IP or being associated with that IP, if they stood on their own, they would be perfectly fine. A good example recently is the Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol is not a good game. Its combat is boring. The melee is clunky. The dodging is clunky. It's very slow. But the real thing that kills it is that it's by the devs of the original Dead Space, and it was heavily associated with Dead Space in the lead up to its release. It
got compared to Dead Space.
it got compared to Dead Space hard. One of its selling points was, this is the Dead Space devs doing more Dead Space, and it was very much not more Dead Space.
And instead of Dead Space, they got Dead Space Space, in that there's not much going for the game.
Yeah. But if it had been compared to Dead Space, if it had released in a vacuum, it'd be a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of depends, right? Because the video is him going over what he views as, like, objective problems with the game, like how the sticker album is very hard to organize, and like it's way too big to be searching through, and like the thing stickers take up too much space, and I'm like, none of that bothers me. Like, I don't see that as like an actual problem. Like, but maybe it is, and I'm just have bad taste. So like that's the whole thing. Like I'm not super attached to Paper Mario. I feel like, you know, like, I'm glad that he got this video out of his system so that he could stop being as bugged about it all the time. Because, like, to me, it feels like I've never gotten so attached to the idea of a sequel that I felt let down. Like even Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Like, Kingdom Hearts 3, my favorite video game series. Kingdom Hearts 3 is kind of mediocre. It's got some problems.
I've heard
I still liked it.
I heard it's good for the Pixar worlds, but otherwise it's just the plot of Disney Frozen or the plot of Disney Tangled happens and Sora's there.
Yeah,
I think the Tangled world is fine. The Frozen world is not great. I think the original characters, I think the stuff that happens with the organization is phenomenal. I think that a lot of the original character work is really good. I think that Kairi got shafted, but so did Lee in a lot of ways.
Kairi always gets shafted. If you're going into Kingdom Hearts
shame.
and expecting Kairi to not get shafted, then you have the wrong expectations from the person writing the game, who has a very bad tendency to devalue the participation of female characters in the stories he writes.
I think I don't
know if Nomura is actually that bad about that usually.
He has a habit. That's it. I'm not saying that he's outwardly horrible about it, but he has a habit.
I'm just like, because did Nomura write Final Fantasy X? Like, I feel like.
I believe
he was just character designer. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know which.
Are you saying he's kind of like Horikoshi in that he's obviously sexist but not on purpose?
I'm not 100% positive in exactly how I'd phrase it, but I think it's just a bad habit. I think it's just when you're writing a story and you think, here's what the girl does in the story, you know.
Because I mean, like, Aqua is fine. Like, she's a perfectly serviceable character.
But she's entirely focused around being a mechanism by which the other characters' stories go forward.
To a certain degree, yeah. But
all
I mean,
of her
like,
behavior
you could say
is formed in response to.
But I mean, like, you could say that about her two friends as well. Like, you could make the argument that, like, Terra is like, I love Terra, but like Terra kind of gets shafted a little bit.
Exactly.
And like Ventus is a plot device in a lot of ways. Like, even the way that he ties into the mobile game and like the flashbacks and stuff, I'm like, there's a lot going on here.
Welcome to Birth by Sleep, where everybody's a tool of the plot and a mechanism, which makes the lady character be on even grounds with the man.
Yeah,
they're all shafted. It's equal gender opportunity for getting the short end of the stick.
I mean, Birth by Sleep is literally just, hey, so you liked Crisis Core, right?
No.
You want to see me do it again? Want to see me do it again?
Yeah. Oh right,
Literally.
I didn't voice my opinion about Chimchar.
Yes, go ahead.
There are better firefighting types and there are better monkey starters.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but like...
And I don't really like the hymn.
Wait, what are the other monkey options for starters?
Grookey.
Are you just talking about Panseer?
Grookey?
Oh, Grookey. I don't really like Grookey that much.
Really?
But we'll get to that when we get to that. Like, Grookey's fine. Like, I don't hate any Pokemon, but like in terms of like strong opinions, I
also
Grookey
just
and Sobble
I don't find a lot of appeal in Infernape's design. There are better fully evolved monkey designs in my preferences.
Well, yes, we know what your preferences are. Maybe it's just because...
There are better fully evolved firefighting lines in my preferences.
Yes, honey. We'll get to that next time. We will get to that next time. And I do like that one. We'll get to that. But, like, I think that Infernape is cool. He looks agile. He looks strong. He looks like he could like fly around on a cloud and have a staff that he beats everybody up with. I love Sun Wukong as well. I have grown to appreciate him since already liking Infernape. So it's like it just piled on more reasons to like him. So I like that a lot. But I didn't ever get to finish like my point, which is that like I don't often get like super attached to sequels. Like even Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they were like perfect opportunities for me to be really mad about the fact that they just made $40 DLC, but I couldn't. I couldn't be mad. They were still good video games, and I liked the stuff that they added. Like when it comes to a series that I like, even if a game is not very good, I will still be okay with it. Like my strongest negative opinions were about Undertale. And I got over those because I realized I was caring too much, and it was very personal, and I didn't need to let that like influence how I enjoy. Like it's tough because like there are video games that I know are bad that I like anyway, and like hearing people talk about them is like, yeah, okay, we get it to a certain degree.
And then video games that you know are good, but you're troubled by.
Yeah, and it's like, and hearing people say, oh well, this has like all these problems. I'm like, yeah, but like, who cares? Like, I don't care about these issues. And but like, hearing about those issues then is like, oh, maybe I should feel bad for not caring, which is why like I didn't want to watch Chugga Conroy's long ass video talking about how bad Sticker Star is. It's like, God, I'm gonna feel bad about not caring about all this stuff. And I'm just because it feels like, oh well, clearly if everybody else feels this, like if this guy that I trust and I respect feels this way about this video game, surely there must be a reason, and maybe I am wrong to not care, especially when like caring is usually something that I do very much.
Oh, so yes, like, yes you do.
So it's like, I don't know, man, but then I hear people like getting really mad about stuff that I feel like is not consequential, because like I've been trying recently to not be like that. Like that's something that I have actively been attempting to like rein in when it comes to fictional stuff. Like,
see, I don't agree that that's a problem. Like, I like when my friends or even people I'm just talking to are passionate about something. I don't think
there's a difference between passion and like
getting all twisted up inside about it.
Yeah, like fair. The way that I felt about Undertale was bad for me. And so it was good for me to step back. So I'm always worried when I see people like getting so heated about things that they don't like. It's like, I like seeing people be passionate about stuff they like, and I wish that people would like lighten up about stuff they don't like. So I feel like the fact that you hate Flint so much for stuff that doesn't seem like a huge deal to me is like, I don't know if that's necessary. But like, obviously, like, I'm not trying to like tell you what to do exactly. I mean, I guess I kind of am, but like, it's a recommendation as your friend that like maybe this is like, it's not necessary to be like this about a monkey and a clown man. I feel like, you know, like I like the normal type. Like, that's my favorite type, and my representation is like a little bit spotty, let's say.
Norman, Lenora, and Larry.
Those all rule.
And,
yeah, those are
and
great.
Whitney.
There's also Whitney.
Yeah.
Whitney is... I like Whitney because she's so brutally difficult. Like, I respect Whitney as a boss fight.
Why does
like,
Flint
a lot of people
have
don't
that
like
weird
Whitney
afro?
because she's whiny. And I feel like that's rude. Like, I think that Whitney is fine. She's probably, like, not that much older than you. She's, like, a young teenager. She got to be a gym leader. She's allowed to cry when she loses. Like, holy shit. Like, dude, relax.
That was a little annoying, but I was...
There's also Ilima. I forgot that... Okay, yeah, actually, the normal representation is actually pretty solid. But, like, we don't get an Elite Four member. Larry's a flying type Elite Four member.
You know,
so, like,
when I was young and I looked at Flint, I thought his hair was just like, you know, combed up in like a fiery pattern or something. But no, that's afro textured. Why does he have like an afro? Huh.
I don't
Fire
know.
puns and a red afro is what you get, and you'll like it.
Yeah, but I think it works though, right? Like, I think that it works because like the whole idea is that is that like he's very passionate, but then he burns out, which I think is a funny joke, especially when they pair it. And again, you don't get to see this because it's in Platinum. In Platinum, you fight him and Volkner in a double battle, like in a multi battle.
Ooh.
And when you beat them, Volkner, because he gets charged up through battle, he at the end he's like laughing and excited, and Flint is all burned out because that's his joke, and he's just not saying anything, and he's like listless over to the side, and Volkner's having to like shove him over because he won't move. And I think that that's a funny joke. I think that it's funny. And I like it.
I think it's fun that like a lot of Japanese media likes to pair fire and like thunder or lightning, I guess, fire and lightning as like brother elements, so to speak.
To a certain degree, I mean, like Avatar: The Last Airbender also did that.
Yes, and Avatar: The Last Airbender is heavily basing itself off of a lot of Japanese media tropes and storytelling.
True.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of multiple Asian stuff. Like, it's arguably more Chinese than Japanese.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm happy to learn that they were borrowing it from a lot of Chinese stuff.
Like the Fire Nation is Japan, so like there's like aspects of that, and then like the Earth
Yeah, the Earth Kingdom is explicitly China. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
no,
then,
I meant
like,
like the storytelling sense. People like when Avatar came out, there were a lot of anime enthusiasts basically calling it anime, and I do not blame them because it's basically anime.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, yeah. I mean, like, normal type didn't get a plate until Legends Arceus. We didn't get I like normal type, but everybody, like, you know, for the most part, normal is like, oh, it's the bare bones basic type. Like, everybody thinks it's boring. Like, the latest gym leader that is a normal type is Larry. He's like, what, the 5th one?
Yes.
So like, and like that's the same as Norman.
Norman's 5th as well.
So like it's 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 1st, 5th. So like, you know, you can talk about fire not getting a ton of representation, but normal is like the 2nd most common type, and we didn't got shit. So like,
I don't know. Your
water
examples of the
water
shit
gets
you
tons
have
of
are
shit.
pretty
Water's
strong
the most
shit.
plentiful, and it gets everything because it's one of the 3 starter types. So
to be
it's,
fair, like half of the normal type representation are notable difficulty spikes within their games.
It's true.
Yeah,
I love
Norman's
it.
slacking is a beast.
It's true. Lenora can kick your ass. Charon can also kick your ass in Black and White too. If you ain't ready, like, holy shit.
Yeah, Whitney's a wake-up call. Norman's a wake-up call. I don't remember Lenora
can
very
be,
well.
depending on your situation. Larry is kind of fun. I don't know if I would call him that, though.
Larry is a joke that initially didn't land for me, because I didn't really connect or appreciate the stuff about him. But in the post-game refight, when you actually talk to him and get a look at his personal philosophy and stuff, which he does have, I love Larry. He's such an interesting character.
I liked the fact that he gives you facade. It's like very funny.
Yeah.
I like, it's sad, but it's funny.
So we talked about
him having.
Yes. Okay.
We talked
about Turtwig and Chimchar. It's time for.
Everybody loves Piplup.
I think Piplup's fine.
I think Piplup's made in a lab to appeal to people.
He's round. He's got a little cape. He's got little pseudo buttons on his belly. He's got his big old. Piplup's great. He does a little slide in Pokemon, in New Pokemon Snap. He's so good. I love
Everything's
Piplup.
good in New Pokemon Snap.
It's true. I did pick Piplup originally when I was younger. I got attached to Chimchar later. And I was not let down. Prinplup is a little bit of an awkward middle stage. I feel like the other 2 middle stages for the Sinnoh starters are actually pretty solid. But Prinplup is pretty awkward. Like, he works fine, but he's he does have, like, a little bit of that awkward Prince vibe, which kind of arguably works. Because then he turns into Empoleon, and Empoleon fucking rules.
Empoleon's
I love
cool.
Infernape, I love Torterra, Empoleon rules. Holy shit.
I never processed that he's got a long tie. Is that what that's supposed to be? Is that a tie?
It's supposed to be like a cravat. Yeah, he's royalty. He's regal. He's Napoleon, for God's sakes. He's an emperor penguin, and they decided to take that very literally. He's got a crown. He's a steel type. He's got weapons. He's armored up. He's cool as hell. I think Empoleon rules out loud. I like the water steel type. Perfection. He's so cool.
He's definitely my favorite of the 3 Sinnoh starters.
I also think it's cool to give a starter steel type.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
He looks very cool. I just looked at his Blueberry Pokedex photo, and that's sick. He's so cool. There's not a lot to say. He's just very self-evidently one of the coolest designs ever. And, he's actually pretty solid in terms of, battle. He kind of takes a little bit because when your Piplup is a Prinplup, it doesn't really learn that many good moves. But then once it evolves, it's pretty bulky in both types, both for defense and special defense. Especially because of the steel type, and it hits really hard with special attacks. So you get Steel Wing when you evolve, and Aqua Jet in later games, but you actually want to be using Flash Cannon. So that's kind of weird that they do that, because it looks like it would be attacking with its giant cool wings, but it is more of a special attacker.
Oh, by the way, as an aside, because you mentioned the Blueberry Pokedex, you remember how we did the main game Pokedex for a couple of streams, just talking about all the entries? You want to do that with the Kitakami and Blueberry Pokedexes at some point?
Absolutely, and always, forever. Hell yes.
I'd be willing to participate in that.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you ever watched it, but Love and I did a series of 3 streams,
I did
each of which were 4 hours long, where we just went
Teddy
through...
there? That was the reason we started doing this podcast?
I think I appeared for parts of one of them. Maybe. Who knows? Time isn't real. My memory's bad, probably because of long COVID or something. Who knows? Doesn't matter.
I just remembered that was the reason we decided to try having a podcast.
True.
Was it?
Either that or discussions surrounding it about, it's basically just podcasting.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was the 3 of us because we... Yeah, so I think that would be cool. Okay, I'm actually I'm getting my event. Speaking of for the epilogue, I haven't finished doing all of the Elite Four battles in the Blueberry DLC, but so I won't be able to do this for a little while. But I want to make sure I don't miss the event because it looks very fun and silly.
Man,
I mean the event
I don't know how to
doesn't
feel
have
about
an
Crispin.
ending.
I think Crispin's fine. I think
Crispin is fun, but he's very stupid, and I find that frustrating.
What kind of Pokemon trainer would you want associated with your favorite type, then? Tell me. What do you think is the embodiment of fire as an element for you?
Honestly, Blaine's kind of got the right idea. Supreme confidence.
Yeah, that seems about right.
While being whip smart.
The sneaky sleeper representative that Lore didn't realize he had all along.
Yep. I think Flannery's kind of fun.
Flannery is my favorite gym leader.
I think that her whole I'm new at this, I'm doing my best thing is kind of fun. I can feel for that. I don't remember her arc in the anime, but I know it was related to that. I think you meet the previous gym leader who was her father or grandfather or something. So that's kind of cool. But in terms of other options, I think Kiawe is cool, but you don't know him because you haven't played the game. He's more cool in the anime. In the games, he's kind of goofy, but in a very comically stoic kind of way, which I think is fun. He has aspects of that in the anime as well, but they're allowed to give him more characterization because he's a main character in Sun and Moon.
No, my favorite types are Bug, Ice, and Fairy, and I feel like I'm pretty well set.
Yeah, Bug is my second favorite, and the bug representation is great. We've got I feel like every single bug person that we have is phenomenal, honestly. Like Berg, great. I love Berg.
Guzma, great.
Bugsy, phenomenal. We love a nerd. Guzma?
Yeah.
Guzma
Guzma.
is a bug specialist,
Yes.
and that's that's my boy right there.
And for ice type,
and
we've
then-
got Wolfric.
Oh, Wolfric, yeah.
There are a
Wolfric's
lot
pretty
of
good.
burly ice type men for you specifically.
Not that
Jenny.
many.
I mean, it makes sense, thick fat is an ability.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing. It ties into the ice type.
It's actually less burly men than you'd think. It's
Yeah, I
Wolfric
mean, like,
and Bryson.
Does Bryson count as burly?
He's at least he's muscular. I don't know if I'd say he's burly, but I was just used to the way that normal people associate the phrase burly. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Garrick in Legends Arceus, the ancestor of Wolfric.
Trying to remember
He's
him.
there.
I'm trying so hard. Garrick, right?
He's the guy who climbs the glacier.
Yeah, he's in like Bryson territory. I never took him as a Wolfric ancestor. Huh.
Yeah, he's
Guess
got
that makes
like
sense. He's
the
got
same
the hair.
Yeah, a lot like half of the ice type representations are women.
Which is fine.
So that's
Lorelei's a badass,
Slay.
and I love her.
I like Melanie.
Lorelei's great.
Melanie's great.
I like Lorelei. Candace is fun. I think Candace is great. She's very fun.
I forgot she existed.
Like she's I think that she's very cool. You don't get a ton of her in the games, but she's I like a peppy, energetic individual. I think that her whole thing of like she's got like short sleeves in the winter because she's training up her internal focus, and like she's all about that kind of thing. I think that's kind of cool. Melanie has a very specific and dedicated fan base, and I'm happy for her.
Oh yeah,
And then there's Grusha. I love Grusha. Grusha's great.
Grusha's great. I wish he were harder.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, ice is hard to balance. Like they did improve ice in a lot of ways. So yeah, normal is my favorite. Bug is my second favorite. And then I think it's either like water or fire for my third favorite. Actually, no, it's electric. I'm stupid. It's electric is my third, and then water or fire.
I'd have to think about what my second was.
Like, those are the three types I would want to be a gym leader of. It's normal first, then bug, and then electric. And then, like, further down would be fire and water.
Ghost type might be my second favorite.
Oh, see, it's a shame that you don't really like Hisuian Typhlosion as much.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Or Skeledirge.
Lore just
I
doesn't.
mean, both of them are very fun to me.
Lore just doesn't approve of Pokemon that smoke weed.
I guess. I mean, like, I don't... I mean, like, the whole vibe of Hisuian Typhlosion to me is, like, cool old dude. Which, it's not mutually exclusive from smoking weed. That's how like, elders saw visions in ye olden days. That's like the whole point. And he's like sort of like a fortune tellery type ghost. So like
I feel
the weed is actually arguable.
I feel like
but...
Hisuian Typhlosion and Delphox would get along.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
They both are like older, like mysticism and magical types.
Okay, so I think we finished. That's weird. It hasn't even been an hour yet.
We didn't really talk about Empoleon very much.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's so self-evidently cool.
It's a cute little princeling that becomes like an elegant like ruler knight.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say anything about Empoleon because we have a Piplup in the anime that stays a Piplup, and that's the main character. So I have a lot of feelings about Piplup. He's funky, he's great, he's a little prideful little shit, and I love him. He and Pikachu have a very fun camaraderie in the Sinnoh anime that I really like. But like for Empoleon, we don't see a ton of him in the anime, so I can't really I don't have any extra connotations with that. He's in Pokken, but none of us play that game.
I should try that sometime. I'm
not a
Tekken
fighting
6.
game player. I'm not a fighting game player.
I mean, while we're in Sinnoh, do you want to talk about the Hisuian forms of Pokemon
Actually, that's a good
specifically?
idea.
Yeah, why not?
Let's just start. Yeah, so I love Hisuian Samurott. I think that it's cool as hell. But I was always going to love everything about Samurott because Oshawott is my second favorite starter. And it's basically tied with Chimchar. for being my
Sinnoh's
favorite.
just full of water types you love.
It's true. I like Sinnoh really does have a lot of good water types that I love. Like Buizel, love Buizel. Mantike, it's related to Mantine, which I also love, but I love it too. Let me just go down the list because there's tons of them. Palkia counts.
I like
Shellos is great.
I like that Hisuian Samurott is like, what if a Samurott had a DeviantArt?
I know, it's great. I like Finneon and Luminion. I can't believe I forgot about them. I perpetuated a stereotype. I feel so bad because I like them. Manaphy's great.
How could you forget about them?
I always have to laugh about Luminion because my favorite streamer hates Luminion. I don't have a problem with Luminion. I think Luminion's pretty, but my favorite streamer thinks it's so pointless, and he gets so offended whenever it's included in a new Pokemon game that has a limited Pokedex.
It's like there are like half the Pokedex is not really not really pointless. It's just an animal. Like it exists to fill out the niches of biology. I think it's neat. Y'all gotta be nicer to my boy.
Honestly, I wish Sharpedo was in Gen 9.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like Sharpedo.
Bebarrel's a water type. My normal water type boy. He's great.
Let's not talk about my opinions on the Bidoof line.
Yes, we understand that you're wrong about Sinnoh. Bidoof is shaped like a friend, and you're wrong. The barrel is great. He's got an episode of the anime where like he's trying to get a bunch of Bidoof to work, and like the Bibarel is like well, actually no, like all of the Bidoof are kind of lazy about it, or like kind of confused because the Bibarel is being lazy, but that's because it hasn't been challenged to a proper fight. It's like the boss, and like it feels bored, so like it has to like save the day once like an Onyx or something comes charging through. I don't remember the exact plot of the episode, but it's got like a bandana around its head, and it's very cool. I liked it. It was a very fun filler episode. But yeah, like, I don't know what to say about Empoleon. It's so cool. Like, it's Napoleon. Fun fact, its height is actually the reported height of Napoleon, 5'7". It's like actually it's actually like his, if I remember right. It's got Defiant as its hidden ability, which like makes its physical moves like a lot. It had Defiant before, so like it would, like that's the one where if a stat goes down, your attack goes up. So like you would have to play it as a physical attacker. But now it has competitive instead, which I did not know. So now its actual stronger attacking stat already gets raised when it gets intimidated. So that's like super cool, actually.
Yeah, there were a lot of improvements to older Pokemon that got brought back in the Gen 9 DLC.
It's true. I gotta look at like the
Shiftry's the one that's most notable from Kitakami.
I don't remember what did they do to Shiftry? Hurricane?
Gave it Windrider.
Oh, that's right. That's really cool. The Chimchar line has Iron Fist as its hidden ability, which is great.
What's that do?
That's great. It powers up punching moves. So you can imagine that's pretty nice. Fire Punch. It gets Thunder Punch.
Does close combat count as a punching move? It's got punching FX.
I don't think it does. Hold on.
It should be.
No, it doesn't. Drain Punch does, though.
Ooh.
Mach Punch and Power Up
120 power Drain Punch is amazing.
Yeah, it's very good. And like Fire Punch is helpful. Hammer Arm is good for some of the Pokemon who have it, but that's not one that Infernape gets. So yeah, that's very cool. Unfortunately, Torterra gets shell armor.
Close combat in Japanese is named infighting, which is a set of martial art techniques that are used where you basically, while attacking an opponent, invade their personal space to such a degree that you leave yourself open to being harmed, but literally limit the amount that they can defend themselves. Basically, if you're doing it in martial arts, you better be winning soon because you are about to be retaliated against once they understand what's happening to you.
Yeah,
nice.
That tracks. Let me look at some of the Japanese names for these boys.
We should talk about the Hisuian starters.
Yeah, okay, so we talked about Oshawott.
Samurott, Hisuian Samurott, I didn't give my opinion on. I I really like its signature move, but then I like a lot of the combat changes that signature moves moves got in Legends Arceus. Like, I much prefer that version of Stealth Rock. And the Hisui and Samurot's signature move. How does that work in mainline Pokemon games?
Let me check. God, I don't remember what it's called. I'll just look up Samurott. Okay, game data, learn set, Ceaseless Edge, god, that's so cool. Yeah. It's got an increased critical hit ratio, and it sets up spikes.
So, like Stealth Rock, they
it doesn't it doesn't have an increased crit ratio in Gen 9, it just sets up spikes, and is affected by sharpness, which I think Oshawott have? Yeah, okay, no, it's Samurott has it, but only the Hisuian form.
Okay, so, damage and setting up hazards is still a pretty good combo.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's more useful in singles, because, entry hazards are more useful in singles anyway, but because it can do damage at the same time, like, it might be more useful in doubles than the average, hazards move, so, you know. It's there. That's not bad. What is Samurott's hidden
also,
ability,
for full context lore, splinters are inflicted by Ceaseless Edge, Spike, Stealth Rock, Pin Missile, and Stone Axe. So it makes sense that they'd make it put down spikes.
Yeah.
Samurott's normal hidden ability is also Shell Armor. Bwah, bwah, bwah. So we've talked about Hisui and Typhlosion already.
Well, no, I didn't. We mentioned it in passing.
No, we talked about it during the Typhlosion episode.
Well, now we'll talk about it again.
I mean, I guess.
Just like how
I think it's cool. I think it is funky and neat.
I think it's a neat design, but I think it suffers in my estimation because I like Jotoni and Typhlosion so much more. And it is kind of comical that it looks like it's blitzed out of its mind.
I don't think that it looks that way. I think that it's wearing eyeshadow. It looks like it's trying to trick you. It's a funky ghost. He's just chill. He's like either a cool old dude or like a tricksy, like, vixen-y lady. Like, if you actually look at it. But I get that, like, because it's chill, people are all like, oh, he looks stoned. I just don't like drug jokes. I just don't find them funny.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. What is its...
I do have to ask. I know you hate drug jokes, so I'm going to ask you this. Which Pokemon is the most straight-edge Pokemon you can imagine?
The Pokemon that would never do drugs?
That would not only never do drugs, but is morally opposed to the concept of other people, other Pokemon doing drugs.
Ooh,
Cobalion.
That's a good question.
Cobalion.
Like, not to say that Cobalion, like, the Swords of Justice are cops, but, like...
They're a little bit cops.
And Cobalion is, like, very much, like, the straight-edged leader. So it's, like, my first thought was, like, maybe Gallade, but, like, I could see some Gallades being coerced to, like, a party with, like, some other folks that are there. Like, you know, because they're people pleasers. But Cobalion is like, no, absolutely not.
Now I'm just imagining, like, in the Pokemon universe, Cobalion being, like, the mascot Pokemon for anti-drugs, like the Pokemon universe's Dare Lion.
Yeah, he's kind of got cop colors too, and it's like.
And then I think Iron Crown is their anti-piracy mascot.
That would be very funny. That would actually be extremely funny.
Web
I
safety
actually
and
really like
anti-piracy
that.
with Iron Crown.
Like, I like Cobalion. I like Virizion more, but like, geez Louise. So okay, I forgot what Infernal Parade does. It's just Hex that can also burn, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it feeds itself. It's very useful.
And then Hisuian.
I like Hisuian
Decidueye's
move a lot. I could take or leave its design. I recognize that it's objectively kind of cool, but it's a kind of cool that I don't really find appealing.
some people really do not like it, and some people really do like it. I think that it looks pretty sick. I like its floofy pants that I have not noticed until just now. I'm looking at its art now. It's got like floofier like leg feathers. Like it's got like pants. And I think that like the top knot is kind of cool, and it very much like of the three, it feels the most like, oh, we are in like the 1800s Japan. That's actually really cool. And I think that its vibe is very cool and historical, and I like that. Now, Decidueye already had a very cool signature move, and also its hidden ability was the signature long reach was its signature for a while.
What's that?
Actually,
do?
no, it still is. Signature has so long reach basically. If a move would make contact, it actually doesn't. Which can be good for getting around, flame body and stuff. Hisuian Decidueye has Scrappy, which is a little bit better than that, in my opinion. Like, because it's a fighting type, so that's good.
What's Scrappy do?
Scrappy lets fighting and normal type moves hit ghosts.
It's also Intimidate immunity.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is
they
that
made
nowadays.
it that from Gen 8 onward just to give it a little more.
Nice.
Yeah, so Spirit Shackle was it deals damage and then it traps the opponent for a turn. Actually, no, it traps it forever. I didn't know that. So that's kind of good.
Are we talking like Arena Trap or Fire Spin Trap?
It's like Fire Spin Trap, I think. I don't remember exactly. I think it's the same kind of trap. It just prevents the target from fleeing or switching out.
It's not doing damage every turn. So it's like Arena
Okay.
Trap.
Yeah, okay. So except for like Wimp Out and Emergency Exit and like a couple of like the red card and eject button. But then Hisuian Decidueye is triple arrows, which I've never used before. Okay, okay, so it has a high critical hit ratio, and it has a 50% chance of lowering the target's defense and a 30% chance to cause flinching. That's pretty freaking good.
Oh, yes.
That's wild. Holy crap.
Oh, yes.
And that can hit ghosts, so that's like very cool. That's like the combination of it being like a close combat attack that also then fires 3 arrows like he's fucking Legolas, but Japanese. That's awesome. That kicks ass, actually. I love that.
Oh yeah.
I think that Hisuian Decidueye is pretty cool. I
think my problem with the Hisuian starters is that even the ones that, even though they're cool, the regular versions, in my opinion, are more cool.
I think that they are equally cool in most cases. Like Hisuian Samurott, in my opinion, is just a flat-out upgrade to Samurott because it just looks like Samurott with some cool, edgy detailing, and I'm a basic bitch.
I do like that Pokemon has a tendency in the starter Pokemon, they don't always do it, but they have a tendency to include a creature that is extinct.
Huh. Hold on.
And Decidueye was a species of extinct owl.
Oh, cool.
That's true. I did know about that. That's why it's a ghost type,
Yes.
actually.
And since we're in
it's
the
also
past,
tied to.
I think the concept is since we're in the past, the species of owl has not yet gone extinct. In like a metatextual theme way.
Which is very cool. The actual owl in question is related to Hawaiian culture.
Uh-huh.
There's like this a tradition of like psychopomp adjacent situations. I don't know the full story, but like the Dex went into it. I'll do some research before the Gen 7 episode because all of it, like all of the starters are kind of like that's when they started really digging into like the cultural ideas.
While we're on Sinnoh, by the way, you ever think about how Sinnoh is the last region based on a Japanese territory?
It's
yeah,
true.
It's been. It was what 2008 that Gen 4 came out. 2010.
2010. No, No, I was 10, so it would have been 2006. Goddamn.
So Pokemon had 10 years where it was Japanese, and it has now had 17 years where it hasn't gone back in the main series.
Hold on,
which is very interesting, yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, like they've visited the previous regions, and of course they reference Kanto all the time.
They love to do that.
But it is interesting that because it's hard to really forget that the games are Japanese because of where they come from. So it's like it feels like there's always a little bit of that aspect. Like in Alola, there's like some places where like, oh, the people from this place originated from Johto, and we've got like a bunch of culture stuff, and like that's accurate to how Hawaii works. Yeah. There are a fair amount of Japanese people on Hawaii, so they always find the place where there were originally like some Japanese immigrants, and they if there are one, and they always are like, hey, by the way, did you know?
It's almost like trying to find the embassy for the country you're from when you visit us.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Country.
So before we get done with Sinnoh, I would like to express that my least favorite Pokemon games have my favorite champion in the series.
Yeah, I don't like Cynthia's fine. I like her, but like I don't understand how you can love her so much and dislike Sinnoh so much. For me, she's like tied to its identity. And also like arguably she doesn't actually do anything. Like this is me completely being a contrarian, but like arguably like she just kind of wanders around, and like she's so powerful she could be doing a lot of stuff but that she does not wind up doing. That's just me being...
Did I show you the YouTube video I watched about the psychology of Cynthia and why she's so memorable?
I have, like, you have, but I haven't watched it because, like, I've heard every argument for why Cynthia is good. I get it.
The thing I think
People
is really
like
interesting, and I think I've also seen the video that Lore's talking about, because it's both about Cynthia and, what's his face?
And Volo.
Yes. Is that, yeah, I think the video did go over this. Normally, Pokemon games are giving you the upper hand by nature. Enemy trainers don't have stat experience or effort values. You can switch and etc. Generally, you're given a bigger team until the end of the game than anything you're facing is going to have. But Cynthia's Pokemon have effort values, and they have good IVs, and they have good movesets, and they're a balanced team. And it's one of the first times that Pokemon bothers to put an opponent on a level that kind of approaches an equal level to you. And I think
notably,
that alone...
they would continue to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing is true of N's team and Getz's team.
Yeah, but I think that's
I know that like Ultra Necrozma in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is a whole experience.
That's just when they decided to make like an RPG boss. Like a literal...
It's like, oh, the games are too easy, huh? The games are too easy, huh?
The thing that really stands out to me about this video is his breakdown of how her team relates to the rest of the game. She opens with a Pokemon that you cannot have met before, or 99.9% of players will not have met before. So she immediately presents you with something you don't know how to deal with.
And cannot deal with in a super effective manner.
Indeed.
Which is it is kind of a fuck you. I hadn't thought about that.
And then her second through fifth Pokemon, depending on which version of the game she is, are all Pokemon that have been presented as ace bosses in previous fights.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Because there's Milotic, obviously.
There's Milotic, there's Roserade, there's Lucario, all of which were the aces of a previous gym leader's team.
Hold on. I gotta check this, because I know she has a goddamn Gastrodon, and that does not track.
She has a Gastrodon in one of the games, but not
There's
in the
a
one
Gastrodon in Diamond and Pearl, the video game you played. But then she replaces it with a Togekiss, which is the Pokemon that she gives you in Platinum. So that's actually... So, again, Platinum is superior.
Yeah.
And then her final Pokemon is a Pokemon you likewise have probably not run into. It's more likely to run into a Gible than it is a Spiritomb, but...
Especially in Platinum.
It's extremely rare. and it's built to destroy. The Garchomp that she has is built to destroy everything you can throw at it.
And its biggest weakness is the most fragile type to be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So she is built to be a difficult, very memorable battle, and in a way that previous gym... Not necessarily in a better way than previous or later gym leaders were, but in a way that hasn't really been done before or since.
I mean, I would argue that like, her purpose is very similar to the rival in Gen 1. Like, I feel like all of the champions kind of do this in a certain way. Like, in Gen 1, oh, it's the rival that's been bugging you this whole time. It's his team. It's the team that you know, in their final forms, the starter that's good against you. In Gen 2, it's fucking Lance, who you fought in the last game. He has 3 Dragonites that he should not be legally allowed to have. Because
he's playing on Magic the Gathering rules. It's fine.
And then in Gen 3, you fight against Steven Stone, who has, like, a bunch of fossils, which you might not even have one of.
That's an Emerald.
No. In Ruby and Sapphire, it's Steven.
Oh, right, yeah,
and
in
then
Emerald it's Wallace. Right, sorry, I mixed them up.
And like I would, like, you can argue that Wallace is kind of a departure. Like, he's not as cool, especially since you've already fought a water gym leader. But like,
I thought Steven was a very cool character, the way he was written, and I'm disappointed to find out that he's not the champion in Emerald.
Yeah, I mean, like, he is again in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Which is the best incarnations of those games.
Yeah, so with that's how you should play the video games, in my opinion. He's got a Skarmory, which you probably haven't seen. Like, it's a rare thing that you would have seen on one route. He's got 2 fossils, which you possibly haven't run into at all. Claydol, also from the place that you haven't from the same desert that the fossils are in. So you only have access to one of the fossils. You have to pick one, like in all games.
I also just think Cynthia has a team that's structured in a way to be a challenge. Like,
that's also true. But can I finish my point, please?
Yes.
Never.
So then he has Aggron, which is the fully evolved form of a Pokemon that you run into in the same place that you run into him the first time. And then his final Pokemon is a Metagross, a Pokemon you cannot get. You can't get until you beat him, because then he gives you one after you beat him. So, like, I feel like the structure is very similar in that way. And
the Metagross is an excellent point, but I'd argue that the Spiritomb is more impactful because he doesn't open with the thing you don't know what to do with.
It's true, but I mean, Skarmory is still a very good opener. Like no shade. And obviously, like, Spiritomb is one of the scariest fucking things. Oh my god, it's the spooky dish. I remember Lucajin being like, oh my god, it's the fucking dish. It's like it is objectively one of the most terrifying openings to a Pokemon battle, and I will not say that that's not true. That is definitely, like, a point Cynthia has in her favor. But I feel like saying that her entire team structure is unique is kind of just biased. Like a lot of people like Cynthia. She's cool in the anime. She's very pretty. A lot of people like her for various reasons. It's
she's
like, yeah, okay.
Bossing.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I get it. Like, to a certain degree, it's kind of like she feels a little bit overrated in some cases. Like, my favorite champion out of all of them, I'm looking at the list right now. Like, if I had to pick, I think it would be Iris, actually.
Iris is my second favorite. I love Iris. She's so much fun.
I think that her battle theme is great.
Oh, it's amazing.
I like Leon a lot as a character, and he works well as a champion. I think that works as well.
Leon, I prefer that your rivals and the champions you face as the final boss be the ace trainer archetype, where they have a team that's built to beat people. Steven's team is themed, right? He's not as themed as a gym leader, but he is themed. Cynthia's team is built to beat people, first and foremost. Yeah. As is Blue, as is, even Diantha.
I like Leon's team because
and Leon, Leon does it too.
I think that Leon is cool because he's like half of his team is well, only 2 of his Pokemon it looks like are based around your starter. Because he takes the third one that you and your opponent doesn't pick. So like he's got the starter that's super effective against yours, which like is kind of wild. But his arguably his worst team is the one where he has 2 fire starters. But even then, like his Charizard has really good type coverage.
And it's got
ancient
that
power for crying out loud.
And it's got that Gigantamax move. Isn't that the one that deals dots?
Yeah, it does residual damage over time.
Yeah, and it never goes away until you replace the field effect.
And I do want to say that Volo is a very fun follow-up on Cynthia because first you get slapped with, oh fuck, that's Cynthia's music. This is Cynthia's team with a single Pokemon swapped out, and the Pokemon swap out actually makes it more of a pain in the ass to deal with. God damn it. And then it's, okay, what do you mean he has a 7th Pokemon?
Yeah, it's like, hello, have you played Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness? Well, you better be ready!
Like, the game's supposed to be on my level and feel unfair because of that, not be above it, and then you beat the 7th Pokemon, and the game's like, guess what? He has an 8th Pokemon!
Hi, how do you feel about 3-stage final boss fights? It's like, no, this is not the kind of this is not the kind of JRPG I signed up for. No,
it's so funny.
The Volo Giratina Gauntlet is. I haven't fought Ultra Necrozma, so I can't comment on that one. But the Volo Giratina Gauntlet is the hardest fight in any Pokemon game I've ever played.
It's very funny.
I mean, like, Ultra Necrozma is just one thing that you have to beat, but all of its stats are buffed, and it has basically perfect coverage unless you bring a Steel type. It's rough. It's very difficult to fight, but Volo's, because it's more drawn out, it is harder.
Especially since the origin form Giratina gets a free hit at the start of its phase.
I think it doesn't necessarily get a free hit. It's just fast, but I don't know for sure how the mechanics work. I do love that Volo. All of his Pokemon are the same level. Like none of it. Like he's Pokemon wielder Volo, so all of his Pokemon are like at the same level, and even Giratina's only a couple levels higher than it. Like it's actually kind of cool that like he doesn't necessarily have an ace Pokemon. Like he's been using a Togepi the whole time. But like his last Pokemon is a Garchomp, but his Togekiss and Garchomp are the same level. So
he has that cool. Gible from very early in the game too.
Oh yeah, he does have a Gible as well, but like he starts with just the Togepi.
It's also funny to me because it's the final boss of a game where you can almost consistently avoid having any actual Pokemon battles.
It's true. I mean, there are like 4 required in the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So suddenly the game says, to finish me and unlock all the features, you have to engage with the battle mechanics that you've probably been avoiding for novelty's sake.
And I hope you're ready to fight 8 Pokemon in a row. I will be breaking the rules.
Including a legendary
twice.
So I feel like it's a fun follow-up on Cynthia having been hey, this game's supposed to be unfair in my advantage, too. What do you mean the game's now unfair in the enemy's advantage, huh?
It's like,
what?
Pokemon doesn't do that. Pokemon doesn't do that. It's a kid. This is a kid's game. What happened to this being a kid's game? Oh, I have to go. I have to go now.
I have to go. I have to use my funny rocks that I picked up across the game and hope that those make my Pokemon good enough.
And I gotta shove some candy down my Pokemon's throat. Give me a second here. I'll be right back.
Volo's like, yeah, I'll wait. I'll beat you anyway.
It's true. I love Volo. He's great. He's phenomenal. He's got Goro Akechi vibes in a very specific way.
Volo
so, like,
Akechi.
obviously I like him.
One of the points that the video raises is that Cynthia, all the champions are built on expectations. They're either built up through the game into a climactic fight where you're expecting something difficult, or in Cynthia and Volo's case, well, more Cynthia's case than Volo, because Volo has the context of Cynthia. In Cynthia's case, she's not built up at all. she is presented as a quirky history buff who follows you around. And you may find out she's the champion at some point, but I don't remember. But
this is also how Iris is represented.
Yeah, you never see her fight, and you never see a hint of what she can do until you're standing in front of her in the champions room. She is built on not having any expectation and expecting it to be the same as all the other fights in the game, and then her actual fight is designed to thrash your ass and come out of nowhere. Volo, on the other hand, is built on that Cynthia reputation. He is built to take advantage of, he's leading with Spiritomb. Is this just Cynthia's team? And then to exceed even that expectation when you have to fight Giratina after him twice.
Shout out to the fact that the music does not continue from the brief piano intro until you advance the text. So like you could just there's like a ghostly piano like thing just to put you in the mind of oh shit, oh god, oh fuck, and then then you press the button and it continues, and it's like oh god, oh shit, oh fuck.
And then speaking of champions defying expectations, Gita's a funny instance of that because you expect normal champion difficulty, but her fight is specifically engineered to just be a setup for the fight that immediately follows it being actually challenging. And also to kind of...
is a great...
No, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
And to kind of establish, hey, this isn't the final fight of the game. There is more after Champions Road that's actually going to thrash your ass into the dirt if you're not ready for it.
It's true.
Yeah, the final battle, well, not counting the Koraidon victory lap, but the final battle against Sada and Turo is sick.
It's so like, hello, here, have a bunch of wacky-ass Pokemon, most of which you have not yet encountered.
And they're all
the same thing as Spiritomb.
They
It's the same thing as Spiritomb.
Like, Spiritomb is at least very clearly a ghost, but with the Paradox Pokemon, you're like, you're going to share at most one type of what you look like. God damn it.
And that isn't even necessarily established unless you look at... You can technically find all 6 of those Paradox Mons before you face Sada or Turo. However... most people's experience will be having run into Screamtail / Iron Bundle and maybe one other. Because
you're forced to fight a couple of them.
Until you beat Sada and Turo, they're very rare.
Like you're forced to face like the like an Iron Hands or you
face Screamtail in Scarlet and an Iron Bundle in Violet.
Yeah, but you're mobbed before you get into the actual lab where the AI is, and you're forced to through another.
Oh
fight.
Yeah, true. Forgot about that. Well, you won't have caught any of them, so you won't know what types they are.
Well, once you run into them once, the Pokedex knows.
That's good.
Okay, well, the final fight is a lot less sick and clever than I thought it was. Never mind.
No,
well, I mean,
you're
most
only
people
forced
don't
to
look
run
at the
into 3 of them. You can very easily miss like half of them.
Like, you won't know what the hell a Slitherwing is when she throws that out first.
And let's be
For
real,
sure.
Lore, very few people actually look at their Pokedex or understand all of its functionalities as they're progressing through the game. The sheer amount of people I know that don't know that you can look at the location of the next Pokedex next to your registered entries, the location of the next Mon in there. The sheer amount of people that I don't know that you can find their habitats of Pokemon that you haven't found yet is astounding.
Hi, I'm people.
Yeah.
But notably, what I mean by Pokedex is once they're registered in the Pokedex's type, in battle they'll show you what moves are super effective and what aren't. Which is a nice convenient feature that some people complained about so heavily in Gen 7 when it was introduced.
I personally think it shouldn't do that until you catch one. I think once you catch one, the reminder of what moves work and don't work against it is available information, and is very good to provide to the player, especially since it's a kid's game.
And there's thousands of these fuckers.
But I think that being handed information about what is and isn't super effective against a Pokemon you haven't caught yet is too much hand-holding.
Like I said, the type is recorded in the Pokedex when you register it as seen, and they're tied together. That's why I mentioned it like I did. So, like, if they were to look it up in their Pokedex, they could see the type there, and they would have the known information. So it's the same thing. But, like, and I feel like that's helpful, like, to learn how to catch something. Like, if you want to know, like, what moves to use to weaken it, it's actually pretty helpful, like, to know which status moves you might not be able to use on it and all that stuff. So I feel like knowing, like, having to fight it once to get the type registered, I think that makes perfect sense. I think it works fine. 5-year-olds play this game.
And
Literal
regardless, all the
6-year-old
Pokemon
children.
she's throwing at you are Ubers. Like, she's throwing Pokemon at you with BSTs of, like, fucking 500 plus. Hell if I remember the exact numbers. So even if
I think they're all 550.
Yeah, so, like, they're all, like, competitively strong, not necessarily in the meta sense, but in the they got
they're
the
all
big
very
stats
powerful,
sense.
and they I think only the last one has booster energy, right?
Yeah, the last one
Correct.
gets booster energy.
Which is just like, that's the most powerful one. So it's like, hello, would you like me to be even more bananas now?
Yeah, that's a cool finisher. What does Turo throw out? What does Turo lead with in that fight?
I don't remember what he leads with. I think it's the iron moth, actually. It's the Volcarona again.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's got two. And then
there are no required fights against Slitherwing or Iron Moth, and it's very unlikely you'll have run into one. So it does still have that Spiritomb element to the opening of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the highest special attack out of all the Paradox Pokemon.
Better have packed a wall.
Or, something faster than it.
140 special attack, and it has 110 speed.
Yeah, and God help you when Fluttermane shows up.
Oh, yeah, no, Fluttermane's a beast.
And then Roaring Moon, dear lord. It's like, why is it a Mega Salamence? Why are we addressing Mega Evolution again? When did that start happening?
I mean,
my favorite
Iron Valiant is also a Mega Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's also a fusion, which is like, there's a
megas.
lot going on with Iron Valiant. I don't know, like,
I love Iron Valiant. The funniest thing about Iron Valiant to me is that the speculative Pokedex entry for it in Pokemon Scarlet is that a scientist was trying to create the perfect psychic type Pokemon when it made it.
And it's fairy fighting instead, right?
Yeah. That is actually pretty funny. I didn't think about that.
Funny.
It's both of the secondary types of
Yes.
Gardevoir and Gallade. That's actually very funny.
God, my favorite streamer played Scarlet, and he was wondering what the final Pokemon was going to be, and she sent out Roaring Moon, and he went, "Oh, that's a Salamence."
Yeah.
What a good video game.
Something that's actually very funny. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, so Roaring Moon is Dragon Dark type, right? The same type as Hydreigon, which Iron Jugulus is Dragon Flying,
It's
which
dark
is
flying.
Salamence's type.
It's
Fun
dark
fact
flying.
about
It's dark flying.
Oh, it's Dark Flying.
Yes.
What?
Is it? I
Yes.
think it's Dragon
It's
Flying.
dark
Let's
flying. I'm
find
on
out.
Bulbapedia.
I'm also on it. So, like, fair enough. All right, but the cool thing about this is they're native to the opposite version. You cannot find Hydreigon in Violet.
Huh.
And you cannot find Salamence in Scarlet.
Oh, so that's why the Blueberry DLC sometimes makes like small speculations that it's from another timeline's future or another timeline that is in the future or in the past, rather than it's just from this timeline's future or past.
Yeah,
Which
make
has
more
the
sense
funny
anyway.
implication that if you're playing Pokemon Scarlet, the Paradox Pokemon are being taken from the Pokemon Violet universe, but that universe's
That is
timeline is
interesting.
currently in the past. And if you're playing Pokemon Violet, it's pulling from the Scarlet timeline, but Scarlet's timeline is currently in the future relative to it.
That's actually kind of cool. That means
That
that
is
Scarlet
cool.
is in the past. Like, that means that Scarlet is in the past of where things are being drawn from, and Violet is in the future of where things are being drawn from.
Actually, it would be vice versa. It would be
No,
that.
because Violet is pulling from the future of Scarlet. So
Yes.
Scarlet is in the past of where the Pokemon are being drawn from.
Okay, so
and Violet is in the future because Scarlet is pulling from Violet's past.
yeah,
It would have been funky
in
and
the
weird
opposite
because
timeline is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so like it would have been funky and weird anyway because time travel is always funky and weird. But anyway, we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes, and I think we might be done now.
Good. We love Pokemon.
I love Pokemon a lot.
I love Pokemon so much.
Next time we get to talk about my favorite generation, Generation 5, and my favorite set of starters, the Gen 5 starters. Like, God, it's hard because I also really like the Gen 7 starters, and I really, really like the Gen 9 starters as well. But holy crap, the Unova starters are so fucking good. I love all of them so fucking much. So I cannot wait.
They're very fun.
I think the Gen 5 starters are neat. Like I said, they've done better monkey starters since, and they've done better firefighting starters since. So, you know.
It took me a while to come around on Tepig, but we'll get to that next time, everybody. I have been Obsessive Reader Love. You can find me on Tumblr at loveblogging and reblogging, and I also am attempting to stream on Twitch at Obsessive Reader Love. I might be, I can't tell you time stuff because this isn't going to come out until next month when we're recording this, so I can't tell you, but I might still be streaming on Fridays. My attempts to play Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know, though. I'm kind of tired from doing this, and I need to take my medicine, so I don't know if I will be streaming tonight after all. We'll figure it out.
Good rest if you need to.
Hooray!
It'll get rid of any status conditions you have and put you at full HP.
And I've been Loreweaver. I can be found at loreweaver-universe.tumblr.com is my blog, and twitch.tv/loreweaver15 is where I stream live almost every day at 1 p.m. EST. And if you don't want to watch me live, but just want to watch the playthroughs I've done, I upload every stream I do to @Loreweaver on YouTube. Everything from the last 8 years is up there. So come check my stuff out.
I'm Teddy. You can find me around. Once I set up more of an online web presence, now that I'm unemployed, I might bother to hawk my stuff here. But I'm around. I'm starting to make things.
Anything unrelated that you want to shill?
What to shill? Man, just Pokemon's good. Like Scarlet and Violet's DLC, I liked it a lot. I know that performance-wise, Scarlet and Violet have a lot of troubles, and that's not gone with these DLCs, but I really do feel like I can feel the developers and designers' spirit and energy and desire to make an entertaining game come through, even if it's very poorly optimized.
The environments are very cool. I like the new areas are very cool and fun. Hopefully the event will still be going when we upload this, and I will be able to properly remind you, get the event before it stops happening.
The event's forever.
The event's forever?
Yeah, the event's
Otherwise
forever.
You'd be locked out of the Pokemon, right?
The event is
but I mean,
forever.
it's a mythical. That's the point.
It has no end date. They said, it's just happening.
Oh, well, that's nice then.
Awesome.
It's nice because it's a story thing. So I was hoping that would be the case, but the Pokemon is a mythical Pokemon. It's an event Pokemon. So I was a little worried. I wasn't sure.
Go get Momotaro (parentheses evil).
Go get Wario, but Peach Boy. This is our evil Peach, except he's a boy.
Anyways, Pokemon good.
Get Pokemon.
Have fun, stay safe, be brave enough to be kind, and get Pokemon.
Get Pokemon.
Hell yeah. Bye, everybody.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch.
Bye.
Bye.